Hello everyone, welcome back to Mahi's Life Science channel. In this video, we will discuss about the flagella in bacterial cell, their structure, types and its function. First, we will see what is flagella. It is a microscopic hair-like structure and they are involved in the locomotion of the cell. The word flagella means white. The flagella have a white-like appearance which help to propel the bacterial cell even through the liquid medium. Some special flagella are used in few organisms which act as a sensory organ so that they can able to sense there is a change in pH as well as temperature. The bacterial flagella are a coiled, thread-like structure, sharp, bent and consisting of a rotary motor at its base. They are composed of a protein called flagellin. Structure of flagellum. The size, structure and number of flagella are different in prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes. Even within the prokaryotes, the bacterial flagellum is different from the archaeal flagellum. Similarly, the composition as well as the mechanism of flagella formation are also different and diverse. However, the basic structure of flagellum consists of some structure. They are mostly common in all domains of life. The basic structure of flagellum include three major structures such as filament, hook and basal body. First one is filament. In this diagram, you can able to observe the presence of that filament and also the flagellin protein subunit which is responsible for the formation of that filament which is green in color. If you see that filament, they are rigid helical structure that extend from the cell surface and also it is composed of a protein flagellin which are arranged in a helical chain so that it form a hollow core. During the synthesis of that flagellar filament, the flagellin molecule mainly coming off from the ribosome. After that, they are transported through the hollow core of the filament where they attached to the growing tip so that we can able to see that filament causing it length. With the exception of few bacteria such as Dello-vibrio as well as that Vibrio cholerae, the flagellar filament is not surrounded by this sheath. And the second one is hook or anchoring structure. In this diagram, you can able to find the presence of that hook after the filament. The hook is a flexible coupling between the filament and the basal body. Third one is basal body or motor device. In this diagram, you can able to observe the basal body from the outer membrane, periplasm and cytoplasmic membrane, which are also consisting of a series of rings such as L ring, P ring, MS ring as well as C ring, which include two important proteins such as mode A protein as well as mode B protein and also another important protein called as an FLI protein which act as a motor switch. The basal body mainly consisting of a rod and a series of rings which anchor the flagellum to the cell wall as well as the cytoplasmic membrane. Unlike eukaryotic flagella, the bacterial flagellum has no internal fibrils which does not flux. Instead, their basal body which act as a rotary molecular motor which enable the flagellum to rotate and propel the bacterium through the surrounding fluid. In fact, the flagellar motor rotate very rapidly. Some flagella can able to rotate up to 300 rpm per second. Next one is that mode A as well as that mode B protein which form the stator of the flagellar motor and which function to generate to move as well as rotation of the flagellum. The MS and C ring which function as a rotor, and for the movement of that flagella, the energy for rotation mainly come from the proton motive force which is provided by the proton moving through the mode protein and a concentration gradient from the peptidoglycan and the periplasm towards the cytoplasm. Types of flagella. There are four different types of flagella. They are monotrichous, peritrichous, lophotrichous and amphitrichous. First one is monotrichous. A single flagella is present at one end or the other that you can able to observe in the diagram. They are also known as the polar flagellum and they can able to rotate both clockwise as well as anti-clockwise movement. The clockwise movement move the organism forward while the anti-clockwise movement pull it backward. And the next one is the peritrichus. Several flagella which are attached to all over the organism that you can able to observe in the diagram. And they are not the polar flagella, and they can able to found all over the organism. And these flagella rotate anti-clockwise and form a bundle that move the organism in only one direction. If some of the flagella get break and they will start to rotate clockwise, the organism does not move in any direction and they can able to show only the tumbling movement. The next one is Lophotrichus. Several flagella are present at one end of the organism or the other. They are also known as polar flagellum and they can able to rotate clockwise as well as anti-clockwise movement. The clockwise movement move the organism forward while the anti-clockwise movement pull it backward. And the next one is Amphitrichus. Single flagellum are present on both end of the organism. They are also known as polar flagellum and they can rotate clockwise as well as anti-clockwise movement. The clockwise movement move the organism forward while the anti-clockwise movement pull it backward. You can able to observe the diagram of Amphitrichus as well as that Lophotrichus in the slide. Functions of flagella. As we discussed earlier, these flagella are the primary structure mainly involved in locomotion in most of the bacteria and they can move toward the most favorable environment. And the movement of the bacteria occur in response to various stimuli so that they can enable to adapt in different environmental conditions. In eukaryotic cell like sperm, these flagella are not only essential for motility but also eventually for fertilization. And these flagella play an important role in the colonization of tissue surface as a virulence factor, mainly to invade host tissue and develop within them. And they are also important for non-pathogenic colonization of surface like plant, soil or animal surface. In some bacteria, these flagella are involved in the nutrient and waste exchange by disturbing the nutrient poor as well as that waste rich cell which is present within the bacteria. In alkalophilic bacteria, these flagella are sodium driven which mainly enable the re-entry of sodium into the cytoplasm so that it can able to maintain the neutral cytoplasmic pH. Thank you. Stay tuned and subscribe for more videos.